The first thing she noticed wasn't the machines. It was the boy's hand. Small, pale, still. Too still. Everything else in the room was loud. Monitors beeping, nurses moving quickly, doctors speaking in clipped, confident tones, but his hand didn't belong to that urgency. It lay there at the edge of the hospital bed, fingers slightly curled, as if it had already given up trying to hold on. And somehow, in a room full of experts, she was the only one who saw it. Lena Brooks wasn't supposed to be there. She wasn't a doctor. Not even close. Just a night shift cleaning staff member who knew the hospital's rhythms better than most the quiet hours. The chaos, the moments when people stopped seeing what was right in front of them because they trusted the machines more than their instincts. She had learned to stay invisible. Push the cart. Wipe the surfaces. Keep your head down. That was the job. But that night, something pulled her attention toward room 417. The door was half open. Voices inside, sharp, urgent. Oxygen levels stabilizing. Pulse is weak, but holding. We caught it in time. Doctors, specialists, the best money could buy. Everyone knew who the patient was. Ethan Cole, 8 years old. The only son of Marcus Cole, a billionaire, whose name was attached to half the city's skyline, private helicopters, top-tier doctors. A man who could command anything, except certainty. Lena had seen him earlier, standing in the hallway, suit wrinkled, eyes hollow in a way money couldn't fix. She slowed as she passed the door. Just a glance, she told herself. Just a second. Inside, the boy lay surrounded by wires and machines that blinked reassuring numbers. Doctors hovered, nodding at screens, murmuring things that sounded like control. Everything looked handled. But then she saw his hand again, and something didn't sit right. Lena had a son once, years ago, before the accident, before the hospital rooms and the waiting and the quiet. Terrible moment when machines stopped making promises. She remembered holding his hand, how it felt when life was there and when it wasn't. And this didn't feel right. She stepped closer to the door. One of the nurses glanced at her, distracted. "Ma'am, you can't—" "I know," Lena said softly. "I'm sorry, I just—" Her eyes stayed on the boy. "His fingers," she said. The room barely reacted. One of the doctors didn't even look up. "Circulation is being monitored." "No," Lena said, a little stronger now. "Not that. They're stiff. Not weak, not limp, stiff." That got a glance. Annoyed, brief. "He's been through trauma," another doctor replied. "Muscle response can—" "He's seizing." The word cut through the room like glass. Silence followed it, just for a second. Then someone scoffed lightly. "He's not presenting—" "He is," Lena insisted, stepping fully into the room now, heart pounding. "It's subtle. My son, he had seizures like that. No shaking. Just freezing." His hands would go first. Now the room shifted. Not fully, not convinced, but uncertain. And uncertainty is dangerous in a place built on confidence. One of the younger doctors frowned, stepping closer to the bed. "Wait, hold on." He reached for the boy's hand, pressed lightly, then harder. His expression changed. "Doctor?" Another moved in. Checked the monitors again. Numbers still looked stable. Too stable. "Why isn't this showing—" "Because it's not triggering the usual pattern," Lena said. Her voice quieter now, but steady. "It's different. But it's happening. A beat." Then everything exploded into motion. "Get me a neuroconsult, now." "Prep anticonvulsants." "Monitor brain activity. Move." The calm dissolved instantly into controlled chaos. Machines were adjusted. New equipment rolled in. Orders barked. The boy's body, still outwardly calm, suddenly became the center of a storm no one had seen coming. Except her. Lena stepped back, heart racing, unsure if she had just helped or made a terrible mistake. Then, as if summoned by the shift in energy, Marcus Cole appeared in the doorway. "What's happening?" His voice wasn't loud, but it carried. The kind of voice that moved Marcus. Now it trembled. One of the doctors turned to him quickly. "Mr. Cole, we believe your son may be experiencing a non-convulsive seizure. It wasn't immediately—" "Is he okay?" "We're intervening now." Marcus's gaze moved across the room, over machines, doctors, chaos, and landed on Lena. She stood near the wall, clutching the handle of her cleaning cart like she didn't belong in the same universe. "Who is that?" he asked. No one answered right away, because no one really knew. Then the young doctor spoke. She noticed something we didn't. Marcus looked back at his son, then again at Lena. And in that moment, all the power in the world meant nothing. Only seconds did. The medication was administered. Time stretched. Too long, too quiet. Everyone watched the monitors now, not with confidence, but with hope. A flicker. A change. Wait, there. The numbers shifted. Brain activity stabilized. The tension in the boy's fingers eased, just slightly at first, then more. His hand relaxed. A breath passed through the room like a wave. "He's coming out of it," someone said. Another confirmed. "Seizure activity decreasing." Marcus stepped closer to the bed, his composure cracking as he took his son's now soft hand into his own. "Ethan, buddy." The boy didn't wake. Not yet, but his body no longer fought in silence. And that meant everything. Minutes passed before the room settled. Doctor spoke more quietly now, less certain, more humbled. The storm had passed. But the realization lingered. They had almost missed it. Marcus turned slowly. His eyes found Lena again. She looked like she wanted to disappear. "Come here," he said. She hesitated. I should go. I wasn't supposed to." "Please." It wasn't a command this time. It was something else. She stepped forward. Slowly. "I don't know what you saw," Marcus said, his voice rough. "But they're telling me it saved his life." Lena shook her head gently. "I just noticed something that felt wrong. That's not just anything." She swallowed. "Sometimes the smallest things aren't small." Marcus looked at his son, then back at her. "I've had the best doctors in the world in this room," he said. "And somehow, you were the one who saw him." Lena didn't know what to say to that. So she told the truth. "I wasn't looking at the machines." Silence settled between them. Not empty. Full. "I was looking at him." Something in Marcus broke then, not loudly, not dramatically, but in the quiet way a person finally lets go of holding everything together. "Thank you," he said. 2 words, but they carried the weight of everything he couldn't control. Lena nodded. A small, almost invisible gesture. Then she stepped back, because that's what she had always done. But this time, as she turned to leave, Marcus stopped her. "What's your name?" She paused. "Lena." He repeated it like it mattered. "Lena, I won't forget this." She gave a faint smile. "You don't have to." And then she walked out of the room, back into the quiet hallways, back to her cart, back to the life where no one usually noticed her. But something had changed. Not just for the boy in room 417, not just for the billionaire who had learned that money couldn't buy awareness, but for everyone in that room, because sometimes the difference between life and loss isn't expertise. It isn't status. It isn't power. Sometimes it's a tired woman at the end of a long shift who chooses to care just a little more than she's required to and refuses to look away.